It's time to go to Japan. I'm here. Sorry, if you don't know, I live in Japan, so we're here. Okay. What's this? A suitcase. Because guess what I am? A professional packer at this point. I've traveled quite a lot in my days here on this planet, I guess, and in Japan. I've also come on many trips to Japan myself before moving here permanently, I guess. So I'm gonna tell you my secrets on how I travel. I'm gonna tell you what you need to bring, what you don't need to bring. Let's get into it, guys. I've made videos like this before, but I've compiled comments, I've compiled advice. I don't know, this is the master video. All right, I'm not going anywhere. I'm just doing this to film, to be clear. So today we're gonna be covering things like clothes, electronics, toiletries, how I create my suitcase, things like that. We're gonna start off with the most important category, probably. What clothes do you need to bring to Japan? First of all, I can't answer you because Japan has 4 whole seasons. Wow. And that means the weather here is very different all the time. Summer is brutally humid and hot, and winter is cold. What you need to do is put in the dates of your trip into Google, into theweather.com or whatever the weather websites are, and look at the average temperatures for each year, and you can plan based off that and then check the weather again about a week before your trip. But first, let's talk about shoes. 100% you need sneakers, non-negotiable, and you have to make sure obviously that they're easy to walk in, but also that you can take them on and off very easily. In Japan, there are a few situations where you're going to be needing to take off your shoes each day. So if you're staying at like a Japanese style hotel, a ryokan for example, you will need to take your shoes off multiple times a day just to get into your hotel room. But there's other places also, like if you go into a temple, for example, a Japanese style restaurant, or basically any fitting room in Japan, you have to take your shoes off like before you get into the room itself in most cases. So make sure that your shoes don't take like a minute to get on, or it's not going to be fun. And then depending on your itinerary, like if you have a nice dinner reservation, a nice pair of shoes. If you're coming in winter, a pair of boots. If you're coming in summer, a pair of sandals. I would bring at least 2 pairs of shoes though, period, because if you just wear the same pair of sneakers every day, your feet are kind of gonna hurt more. I'd bring like 2 pairs of sneakers and like change out between them if you have the space. And important to note when choosing sneakers is you're gonna be walking a lot in Japan, even in the city. Like, look, I walked 18,000 steps almost on Sunday. That's just an average Sunday for me. Like, I wasn't doing tourist things. I was just walking around to different cafes with my friends and a park, and that's the number. So if you're a tourist, expect to have many, many days of over 20,000 steps. It just happens. You don't need a plan for it. It's just, that's what's gonna happen. Something else you're gonna wanna bring is socks. Now hold on. In the event you're wearing shoes that aren't sock based or whatever, always carry an extra pair of socks in your bag with you, because you actually are going to be required to wear socks if you go into like a temple or a castle or anything like that. You're not really supposed to walk with your bare feet on tatami mats, for example. So if you do happen to wear sandals, make sure you wear these. A lot of people also ask me how they should dress exactly. Mostly women. Men, honestly, yeah, you can kind of wear whatever you want. I do see a lot of TikToks where it's like people trying to plan out their Japanese fashion for their Japan trip, and then like they show their week of outfits, and it's never Japanese fashion, guys. Like, it's really hard to replicate Japanese style fashion unless you come here. Don't worry about that, you don't need to. That being said, when I do travel, I try to kind of blend in a bit. You don't need to be like the most fashionable person on the street, you guys. Like, that's fine. I just wouldn't wear clothes that like stand out a lot. So for both genders, if you don't want to stand out like as much, I would shy away from maybe bright colored clothing like neons or anything too tight fitting or that shows a lot of skin. Again, you can wear them. It doesn't matter. There's no modesty rules or anything. It's just that you're gonna stand out even more. But for women especially, what I would avoid wearing, this. Throw your leggings away. You don't want them. Nothing stands out more as a tourist in Japan than someone who's wearing tight leggings and a tight shirt, or the Lululemon vest or whatever. Again, you can wear them. You can wear them on the plane, but if you wear them out like on your just like your normal day out in Tokyo, you're gonna kind of stand out a lot because people don't dress like that here unless they're at the gym. And even then, not that many people wear the tight clothes. Something else, like tank tops or like spaghetti strap kind of clothes. Also crop tops and tube tops, that kind of thing. Actually, all these things are pretty on trend right now in Japan, but it's really hard to get the combination right to make it fashionable here, you know what I mean? You can wear them, but usually Japanese people go for like this very balanced look. So if they do have something tight fitting. A Japanese person would wear the pants like really billowy, you know. Also, mini skirts and shorts are okay here. They're very trendy right now. However, it is always done in a very flattering way somehow. And people always wear safety shorts if you're wearing a mini skirt, okay? Always wear safety shorts, please. So back to more general speaking, if you're coming in summer, like I said, Japan, super hot, it's super humid, it's freaking miserable, so get ready, honestly. But even then, not that many people here are gonna be wearing tank tops and shorts. It's just how it is. Instead, if you do wear a tank top, a lot of people wear like linen, like long sleeve tops kind of, partially for modesty, but also partially to block the sun rays because people are super into protecting their skin here. Winter in Tokyo is kind of mild, I guess. It's usually in the 30s, 40s. I would bring a down jacket, but you don't need to do any like crazy, you know, super wool layering in my opinion. You'll probably be fine unless you're going snowboarding or something, then that's another story. The secret of fashion and dressing in Japan actually can just be summarized as layering. Always be ready to layer. Something else to note when you are preparing for your trip is you can actually skip pajamas. You don't need them, depending on your size, honestly. So in Japan, for some reason, it's kind of like built into the hotel culture here where they provide pajamas. They are also usually unisex, and they're either gonna be like the Ebenezer Scrooge kind of nightgown, or they're gonna be like shorts and a t-shirt. That's just how it is, and how the sizing ranges just depends on each hotel, so you're gonna have to look into what hotels you've booked specifically. I think if you email them, they'll tell you the sizes. Basically, if you're over like 5'11" or like over 170, 180 pounds, you might not fit, but you might. You should ask, sorry. Yeah, Japanese people are very small. So for bags, I would of course bring a backpack on the airplane, right? I would make it a bag that can also be worn daily, like in the city if you need it to be. Saves a lot of space. I would also bring some kind of like crossbody bag, like this, for example. The Uniqlo one, for example, works great. A lot of people wear this kind of bag if they're out, you know, traveling and stuff here. And then optionally, I would also bring a tote bag. I'd recommend this just because it can be a bag or it can be used to hold your shopping purchases, and it can fold up, so. And then ladies, I would bring a little purse. Not a huge one, ideally one that can be worn like this, not to protect it from thieves like I would be saying if we were talking about a different country, but because it's just easiest, like this. That's the reason. Also, a lot of people ask me about sunglasses. They're totally fine. You can wear them if you want. But Allison, the internet said you look like a gangster if you wear sunglasses. Yeah, but like 15, 20 years ago. Nowadays, honestly, they're kind of a lot more fashionable now, and people are used to seeing tourists wearing them, so like, honestly, it's fine. Next, electronics. One of the most important things you need to prepare for before your trip is a way to make sure that you are connected wherever you are in Japan, right? So this could be through cell phone data or pocket Wi-Fi. In my opinion, pocket Wi-Fi is annoying because you have to carry it around and charge it. So nowadays, eSIMs are the best, most reliable, fastest, easiest way to stay connected while you're on the go traveling, which is why I'm very happy to say today's video is sponsored by Saily. If you don't know already, Saily is an eSIM brought to you by Nord Security. They have really affordable prices and it's super easy. All you have to do is download the app, choose where you're going and how much data you want. They have over 200 destinations to choose from, by the way, so they've got you covered. And then you just install the eSIM and make sure you activate it before landing. It's really easy. You don't have to like line up at some kiosk in the airport or anything like that. Like, it just connects as soon as you land, and it's super easy, guys. I use it every time I travel outside Japan too. And I'm excited to say that I have partnered with Saily to offer you a special Japan plan just for my viewers that will keep you covered throughout your whole Japan trip. So if you do the 30 gigabytes for 30 days in Japan or the unlimited 15-day in Japan plan, you can get airport lounge and fast track options as well. Not only is this a really great deal, it'll also make the beginning and end of your Japan trip super smooth, super easy, a very solid way to round out your trip. So if you're interested in more details, please go to my link at saily.com/Allison to get 15% off your plan with the code Allison. That's my name. So thank you, Saily, for sponsoring today's video. Another electronic you're absolutely gonna want to bring is a portable charger. I can't emphasize this enough. You're going to need this because you're going to be using that data that you get through the Saily plan to Google Maps your way around every inch of this country, which consumes your battery. Something else you might need is a adapter, depending on what country you're from. All plugs in Japan are just the 2-prong adapter. It looks like this. You can look it up and see if your electronics are compatible or not, but basically you might need an adapter. Something else you're going to need is an umbrella, a little foldable one ideally. You can bring one, of course. I would actually recommend buying one here though, because they're super cute and they're really good quality. Like this is a Miffy one. Can you see? It's Miffy. It's so cute. I think it was like 3,000 yen. So for seasons outside of summer, just a normal foldable umbrella is fine. But for summer, I would definitely buy it here because they have these special UV blocking umbrellas. So as you can see, the inside is black and the outside is a light color. This is what you want. It must be this combination. These are super common and they genuinely work in summer. It will make the underneath of the umbrella like a few degrees cooler, and every degree counts in summer, guys. It's so miserable. So toiletries. Hotels in Japan actually do provide a pretty wide range of amenities, like not just shampoo and body wash and all that, but most of them also provide things like toothbrushes and razors, combs. I would still bring my own, but it's not the end of the world if you do forget something. Between the hotel amenity desk and the convenience store, you're probably gonna be fine. Something else though that a lot of hotels in Japan have are clothes washers, washing machines, laundry washer dryers. They have them and they're usually a pretty affordable price to use them if they're like in a communal area. I would just check out if your hotel has it or not. It's very convenient if you don't want to bring that much luggage. Even just to wash like your underwear, a few t-shirts, that alone will save you space in your luggage, so it's worth it. Ladies, if you use tampons, maybe bring them. Japanese tampons do exist, but they kind of suck. Pads, however, they have mastered. They're very good here. Something else you might want to bring is hand sanitizer because, well, obviously you're going to be touching a lot of stuff right outside, but also because unfortunately some bathrooms in Japan don't have soap. It's usually going to be public ones like in a train station or the park. They don't refill the soap, or well, they don't have soap, period, actually. And they also often don't have hand dryers, which is why you might want to bring a little washcloth or buy one here. This is a very common thing they sell. It's just this big and it's just to dry your hands with. That's the purpose. I used to have to carry this around like religiously when I lived in the countryside. In the city, you don't need it as much, but if you are going rural, you might want to bring that. Medicine. So Japanese medicine is very weak, like, you know, cold medicine, painkillers, especially if you're American. I'd bring a little bit from home if you're like worried about it. You do not need special permission to bring 1 month supply of medicine into the country, by the way. This goes for over-the-counter things like that, or prescription medication as well. If you're coming for over a month, however, and you have like a prescription you want to bring like 3 months supply of or something, there is actually a special form that you can fill out and get approved. I would recommend you look into it and fill it out if this applies to you. However, something important to note is some medications are banned in Japan, so please look it up before bringing it into the country. For example, ADHD meds are almost all banned here, I think, at least the American ones. Something else to consider is if you're thinking of bringing like a straightener, a curling iron, hair dryer, you know, that kind of thing, please check the voltage and if it is compatible with Japan, because a lot of them are not going to work here. Please double check it or it's just going to become useless baggage. Next, shopping and packing. First of all, I know how much money do you need to bring? This much. 1, 2, 3, 30,000 yen. This is probably all you need. Even 20,000 yen is probably fine. Yes, there are restaurants, there are stores that are cash only in Japan. Always have cash on you. Always have cash on you. You can use your credit card now at most stores. However, there's just random places, usually the best places, that take only cash. And your mission once you land is to spend some cash so that you can get, oh, it's not focusing, so that you can get this coin. Money under 1,000 yen comes in coin denominations, and you're gonna need these 100 yen bad boys to use a lot of vending machines, or more importantly, to use gacha machines. Seriously, do try to use up some cash when you land because you're gonna want to have some coins on you. Another piece of advice is leave space in your suitcase if you want to do shopping. I know some people don't have any interest in shopping, that's fine. However, if you do, please remember that you're gonna have to bring everything you buy back with you somehow. Some people do try to come to Japan with less clothes than they need because they want to buy them here. I'd say that's fine, but you should be careful. Please look into Japanese sizing. Sizes run small here. I talk about this a lot. I am 5'5" for reference. This is what I look like. I'm usually a size large or maybe a medium, and most stores only carry up to a size large or extra large. So do with that what you will. If you are thinking of shopping in those like really trendy stores and like Shibuya 109 and such, they're usually one size fits all clothes, and they usually will just barely fit me. Okay, like seriously. It's less because of how big I am this way and more this way, by the way. 5'5" is like, I'm tall. So how many suitcases should you bring? Great question. Depends on how long you're coming for, of course. I would, however, very much caution against bringing the really large size suitcases. You know what I'm talking about. So standard suitcase sizes are usually carry-on size, which is what this one is. Then the medium size suitcase, which is checked. And then the large one, which is also checked. I would only bring the large one if you're coming for a very long time, you're not gonna be moving around much, and you want to buy a ton of things because it's really annoying to maneuver around the city with the big one. Trust me. I do unfortunately have to lug that thing around once a year when I go back to the US, and it's miserable. So if you're trying to keep it light, you don't want to bring that much, you're not going to buy that much, I would actually say skip the carry-on, just bring the backpack, and instead just bring a medium-sized bag. You could probably get by through doing laundry. If you are thinking you're gonna do a lot of shopping, then bring the medium-sized bag, but then also bring a carry-on size bag. And if you're doing things like going from Tokyo to Kyoto, I would actually recommend forwarding your larger suitcase ahead of time. This goes to everyone. Anyone can use this tip. So Yamato Transport, for example, is a very famous delivery service here. It's like Japanese UPS or whatever. And they will send your suitcase for you, like from Tokyo to Kyoto, in about like 2 days. It only costs like 20 bucks a suitcase. It's super worth it because it's really annoying to bring the suitcases around. If you're staying at a hotel, just ask the front desk about it. They will take care of it for you. It is super easy. I also have 2 more hacks that I use when I travel. So whenever I go back to the US with that giant suitcase, right? I always nest another suitcase inside of it. So let's say that this was that giant size suitcase, and then this is the carry-on size bag. I go to America with it in here like this. I do a bunch of shopping, and when I come back to Japan, I have 2 suitcases. Another hack that I use when I travel anywhere else, basically, is I always bring a foldable duffel bag. Like, it weighs nothing. They condense to like this size. It's super easy. They have different size ones that can be carry-on or they can be checked. It's really great. Please look into it. You could even buy them here in Japan. Alternatively, you could just buy a whole nother suitcase in Japan if you really go overboard when you're here. They sell like new suitcases at like Donkey, you know, that famous store, for like, I don't know, 7,000 yen. I would say an overall luggage tip that you need to make sure of when you're traveling is that you can maneuver whatever you're bringing on your own. Yes, you can take taxis from your hotel to the train station, but you're gonna have to get it through the train station. There's no way around that. So make sure you can, you know, drag them around and lift them above your head if needed. But because of this, I really recommend trying to keep your like actual suitcases down to 1 because there's not that many elevators in Japanese train stations. So I would try to be prepared to be able to lift it to go down a set of stairs, you know? Okay, those are all my luggage tips. Thank you for watching. Please let me know down below in the comments if you have any questions or if you have any other tips. I promise you're gonna have a great Japan trip regardless. Even if you forget something, Japan is super convenient. You can probably find a substitute for it. So please like the video and subscribe to me for more videos about my life and traveling here in Japan in the future. Bye!